We're in Anaheim for a rematch of the ALCS. The last time the Yankees and Angels were on Fox, the Bronx Bombers claimed the AL pennant. But now Godzilla's in L.A., and the Angels will be looking for some payback against the world champs. While in the Windy City, the New Look Mariners breeze into the South Side on a hot streak. Can Ozzie and the White Sox cool them off? Plus, we'll find out who some of baseball's best picked to build their perfect franchise. You want baseball? We got it. Here on Fox Saturday Baseball. Welcome to the Lowe's pregame show on Fox. Lowe's, let's build something together. The Angels and Yankees have built a nice little rivalry over the years. 3 times this century they have met in the postseason, including last year's ALCS, won by New York. Derek Jeter had 2 homers in that series to help propel them to the World Series, where then Hideki Matsui smashed 3 big flies and won MVP honors. Now Matsui's in the other dugout, hoping to take the Halos to new heights. And with that, hi everybody. Welcome once again to Fox Saturday Baseball. It is all presented to you today by Lowe's here on the Rocks. Now, in just a few minutes, most of you will stay out here in Anaheim to see if the Halos can make it 2 straight over New York and hand the Yankees their first series loss of the year. The rest of you will be sent off to the south side of Chicago to see if the White Sox can win their first series of the year. Andrew Jones last night on his 33rd birthday, 2 homers, including the game winner in the 9th to best Sean Figgins and the Seattle Mariners. Well, of course, today they wrapped up the 3-day NFL draft with each of the 32 teams looking for that next budding superstar. So that got us thinking. We asked baseball players to put on their GM caps. They could pick anybody in the history of the game to start their franchise with. But let's get to know who they would pick.
And I would definitely build my baseball team around Joe Mauer. I really like this guy. I like this kid, and his personality is unbelievable.
As a catcher, what this guy's able to do, it's truly unique. I think Mauer is one of the best players I've seen.
Babe Ruth, because he pitched and hit 700 home runs. Plus, he liked to get after it a little bit, so it seemed like he had fun.
You're not going to ever see another guy like Babe Ruth, and I think when you want to talk about the greatest player of all time, he's in a league of his own.
Satchel Paige. Go out there and get my franchise pitcher. Then try and see if we can scoop up Bob Gibson.
No one ever talks about Hank Aaron. I have no idea why. He's the all-time leader in RBIs. He's second in home runs. I think he had like 3,700 hits or something like that. The all-time leader in total bases, a 300 hitter. And
Carl Crawford. Yeah, it's weird, huh? But, I mean, he's got speed. He has some power.
Cy Young. No question, right? He's got 500 wins. I'll take half of those wins and be all right.
No, let me change that. Willie Mays.
It's got to be Albert Pujols. I mean, he's amazing. He sets up their whole lineup, and without him, the Cardinals, they definitely wouldn't be as good.
You know how many MVPs he has? He has a couple of them. He's like the best player in all of baseball right now, so it has to be Pujols.
I would have Mariano Rivera on my staff and start a franchise with him and know that when I'm winning a ball game in the 8th or 9th inning, that it's going to be a W for my team.
Smart choice. Mariano has saved 65 of Andy Pettitte's wins, the most of any starter-reliever combo in baseball history. Will that tandem make it 66 today? 8 afternoon games in the Bigs will have all the scores and highlights. But first, get ready to see A-Rod. He loves hitting here in the Big A. Take on Kendry Morales and the Halos. It is an ALCS rematch. The rest of you, get the new and improved Seattle Mariners facing Gordon Beckham and the Chicago White Sox. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Lowe's. Your first pitch is next.
Matchup on Fox Saturday Baseball, the game of the week of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the New York Yankees. And now welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That's No, it isn't. It's Eric Karros. But Tit and I were here at the end of last season during the playoffs, and these were the two teams left standing in the American League, and I don't see why that would change here in 2010. This is as good as the league has to offer.
Well, it might not change. I mean, since 2004, at least in the regular season, these are the two best teams in baseball, the Yankees and the Angels. And the Yankees, they've continued right where they left off. You mentioned they beat the Angels in the ALCS last year, and they went on to win the World Series. But the Yankees, they still can't put away the Angels. The Angels are one of the few teams that they are just not in awe of this Yankee dynasty. They came out last night. They were down 3-1. What'd they do? They came back. They won a ball game. They're 23-9 here in Anaheim against this Yankee ball club over their last 32. They'll look to continue today.
And a matchup today of Andy Pettitte and Joel Pinheiro. We talked about last year. Eric and I will talk about it, I'm sure, as this day goes on. It was the ALCS last year, and the Yankees and Angels, a 6-game series. Yankees got by L.A., beat Philly. They were world champs. First pitch coming up next. Sunny, beautiful day, good matchup, Yankees and Angels. And the Yankees, who blew a 3-1 lead here last night, lost 6-4. Bring you this lineup. Taco Bell brings it to you. Think outside the bunt. Derek Jeter leads it off, then Brett Gardner up in the number 2 spot as Nick Johnson has the day off. Mark Teixeira followed by Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano off to a great start. Nick Swisher's in right. Curtis Granderson in center with Ramiro Pena at third. And Francisco Cervelli doing the catching, batting in the number 9 spot. And here is Joel Pinheiro, more or less a late addition to this roster for the Angels, the end of the free agency period, but a big addition, and he's off to a great start.
Hey, he really is. He had a great start against Detroit, and he faced this Yankee ball club 2 starts ago. Struck out Alex Rodriguez 3 times, got Mark Teixeira once, throwing a great sinker this year, and that's what's making him effective. Learned it from Dave Duncan of the Cardinals last year. He's got to continue to throw that pitch, get that movement, and keep Alex Rodriguez at bay. Got him, like I mentioned, his last start against the Yankees. Got to keep him off the bases today.
So that was the sprint pitcher profile for Joel Pinheiro. And before the first pitch, this game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. A beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Derek Jeter leads it off. And as Jeter digs his way in, remember, he'll be followed by Gardner and then Teixeira. Derek brings a career .338 average with him against Angel pitching into that batter's box. First pitch, a strike, and that shouldn't be a surprise. Pinheiro has gone 56 batters without issuing a walk. When he started this season, you saw the numbers, 2-1 with an ERA of 1.7. The 0-1 from the right-hander. Hard hit right at the young third baseman. Wood makes the play, 1 out. Well, you know that Brandon Wood is over at third base, and here is the rest of the defensive alignment for the Angels, brought to you by Scotts, Rivera, Hunter, and Abreu in the outfield. Left to right, Ibar the shortstop, Howie Kendrick, Kendry Morales at first. Mike Napoli does the catching, and Joel Pinheiro is on the mound. Number 2 batter in the Yankee lineup today is Brett Gardner. Gardner hitting .310. And he has used his speed both in getting on base, and then once he has reached base, he is tied for the American League lead with 8 stolen bases. 0-1 is over but low, ball 1.
Well, interesting you talk about Gardner's speed. I had a chance to speak with Reggie Jackson yesterday. He was around the batting cage. Gardner was in there, and he said, you know, this guy just with his legs will hit .250.
That's off the end of the bat into center field, and the Yankees have the first base runner of the day. And with 1 on, 1 out, Teixeira coming up, it's the Ford keys to the game.
Well, the New York Yankees need to control this Angel offense. Angels hit over 300 against this Yankee ball club. Keep the guys off base so you take away the running game. The Angels, they've got to catch the ball. Pinheiro will induce a lot of ground balls. Don't give any free passes. And then continue to pressure this Yankee defense. First to third, stealing bases. Keep the defense pressured.
It is another slow start for Teixeira, something he's used to. His very good big league career. Last year with the Yankees, his first year, hit .200. That was without Alex Rodriguez hitting behind him the first month of the season. You see the defensive shift on the infield for Teixeira, who's off to a 117 start. Feels like he's starting to come around with the bat. Felt like that last game on Thursday in Oakland, he had his best swings of the season, and see if it carries over with some more hits. First pitch is ball 1.
Well, he hit a home run, hit some fly balls that game. Again, nothing will solve the problem until you start having some success out on the field. You can tell yourself all day long you feel better.
That's hard hit right at Morales. Nicely turned, a double play, 3-6-3 with a shortstop Ibar in the middle. Say the Angels need to catch the ball. Morales caught it, threw it. Ibar caught it, threw it. Half inning, no score. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. Eric Ibar leads it off. He's the shortstop. Abreu bats second. Torrey Hunter hits third. Hideki Matsui, longtime Yankee, the DH. Kendry Morales is the first baseman. Juan Rivera, former Yankee. Howie Kendrick never played for the Yankees. Mike Napoli didn't either, nor did Brandon Wood. Maybe someday. Here's Andy Pettitte, who is 2-0. Good start. Great ERA after 3 tries at it so far in 2010. First up, Ibar. First pitch, a strike. Ibar, Abreu, and Hunter for the Angels, who start this game 9-9. They get off to a 2-6 start. There's a lot to like with this Angels team, and a lot of it, in my opinion, has to do with their pitching, and in particular their bullpen. Ground ball to short. Ibar is out. And that's the way the bottom of the first begins. Here comes Abreu. Numbers for Abreu, former Yankee as well, and a guy who statistically has put together a brilliant career. And although I don't think he would be in the conversation when people discuss the best players in the game, he probably should be with what he can do in all phases offensively.
Well, easily one of the most consistent players in the game. You know, what he's done year in and year out. And you don't think of him as, you know, he doesn't hit all of the home runs. He doesn't hit for the hype, but he does everything well. And there aren't as many well-rounded players as Bobby Abreu in the game.
Here's a 1-0 pitch from Andy Pettitte. And on the inside corner, ball and a strike. Home plate umpire is Bob Davidson. When you were playing, he was known as Balking Bob Davidson.
And he's still known as Balking Bob Davidson, even though I'm up here.
Like that, being known for liking to call balks. The 1-1 pitch. It's an exciting phase of baseball. The balk. There's a striker on the outside corner. And it's 1-2. Bob is joined by Alfonso Marquez at first, Tim Timmons at second, and Tim Sheeta is the crew chief over at third. A ball and 2 strikes from Andy Pettitte. Career best ERA after 3 starts. Beginning of the season, and he gets a strikeout of Abreu.
Well, it's just a fastball up in the zone and gets it by Abreu. So not much he can do in that situation. He's really struggled against the left-handed pitching this year. That is his 9th strikeout already. Andy Pettitte, for him to be dominant today, he's got to keep control of this Angel offense. Don't let him get on base. Keep Ibar off base. Ibar is really the only hitter that's given him trouble in this Angel lineup.
That was the sprint pitcher profile for Andy Pettitte, given to you by Eric Karros with 2 out, nobody on. Here's Torrey Hunter. 9-time Gold Glove Award winner in center. Checks on Jeter in the hole. On a knee, up, over to first, out. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Andy Pettitte. Each pitcher is on. In the first, we go to the second. A-Rod, Cano, Swisher coming up here in Southern California. Is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Scott's, official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. And by Sprint, the Now Network. Well, do you want to see your name on the air? Play MLB on Fox. Tune in to win now on foxsports.com/tune-in. Make your predictions during today's game between the Yankees and Angels. Hurry, though, because your predictions must be submitted by the end of the second inning. Stick around to increase your chances of winning the 7th inning bonus question. Winners will be announced on the air during the 9th inning, provided we remember. Log on to foxsports.com/tune-in to play now. One of the questions is, which of the following players will have the best fantasy day? A-Rod is on the list, along with Robinson Cano, Derek Jeter, Hideki Matsui, or Curtis Granderson. How come there are 4 Yankees and only 1 Angel on that list? What if it's Torrey Hunter? What if it's Joel Pinheiro? Well, questions I would ask of the folks at foxsports.com. First up is Alex Rodriguez. You can answer questions, get your name on the air, email the booth. That comes back to Pinheiro. And Alex Rodriguez is now 4 for 31 in his career against this now Angels right-hander.
You know, that's almost a moral victory right there for Alex. In the last game he faced him, 3 punch-outs, 3 strikeouts, nothing going on. This time at least he made some contact.
And now Cano, part of that combination with Derek Jeter. The middle infield for the Yankees has the top, you name it, offensively, with a combination of Jeter and Cano. They did it last year, and Eric Cano looks like he is just about to take off here. When I did a game 2 weeks ago with Tim, he thinks someday Cano is the type to win a batting title.
I don't think there's any question about that. And he's more than just a guy that's going to hit for average. He's also a player that's going to hit some home runs, drive in runs, especially hitting in this 5th spot of this Yankee lineup. You know, right now, the leader in home runs and the leader in RBIs for this Yankee ball club, Robinson Cano.
Nick Swisher is on deck in the 0-1 pitch from Pinheiro. Tap foul, strike 2. Here are the rankings for that combination of Jeter and Cano. Average slugging percentage, home runs, RBIs, all first. And in runs, they're second. Cano is a career .307 hitter. We're off to a good start, sliding up in that number 5 spot where Hideki Matsui used to do his damage. That's high. And ball 1. There's Swisher on deck. A few guys in this Yankee lineup off to slow starts. You had a record of 11-5 and just a half game behind Tampa Bay in the AL East. It's ball 2.
Well, that's what makes this ball club scary, is they haven't even started to click, especially offensively. But they've caught the ball well. They've been getting some excellent starting pitching.
2-2 pitch. Hit hard and through the right side. Another base hit for Cano. And when you think about the Yankees start, the reigning world champs, you look at some of the things that's already happened so far here in 2010. You see the record at the top. 3rd defending World Series champion to win their first 5 series. First since 1922. First Yankee club since 1926 to do it overall. 3 or more runs scored in 15 to 16 games. They turned a triple play, 2 near no hitters, and had a 12-game errorless streak snapped earlier in the week. Here's Swisher. It's ball 1.
Well, I think for me, you look at that errorless streak, and that speaks volumes of this Yankee ball club. Because when they are catching the ball, it takes off the pressure on the pitchers. I mean, they don't have to make as many pitches. They don't have to be as perfect. And the defense, that's something that the Yankee clubs haven't been known for in the past.
Swisher just gets a piece. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. This is a Yankee team that as a group has committed 6 errors. The American League is led by the Minnesota Twins. They've committed 1. 1 error for Minnesota.
Well, and that's something that Ron Gard and I, our ball club, you always associate fundamentals. But this Yankee team, when they start catching it with everything else, wow.
The close at first. Cano able to get back ahead of the tag by Kendry Morales as Napoli threw behind the runner. The count 2-1 now at the plate.
You see Kendry Morales getting over there with a right-hander. He's going to have his back to the runner as he takes the ball and then applies the tag. He just lays it down in front of the bag.
Here's a 2-1. Was fought off and hit foul down the left field line, 2-2. If you want to talk to the booth, I mean, this is really you and me. Guess they didn't do your caricature, but for some reason it's MLBJoe@Fox.com. Which means Steve Horn, our editorial consultant up here, is going to have to set up a computer quickly for us to read those questions. Or we can have the truck.
You're going to give the answer right away, too? You're just going to read the question?
Just the question. But you give the answer. We can just kick it around. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out, and that's fouled out of play. We did it 2 weeks ago, and Sabathia was cruising along against the Tampa Bay Rays. And Tim and I were talking about the bid for a no-hitter, and I would say 75% of the emails were telling us to shut up about talking about the no-hitter. If we had some sort of control over Sabathia and what was going on. The 2-2. Another foul by Swisher.
That's one of those unwritten rules, right? You don't talk about the no-hitter. Isn't that an unwritten rule?
Well, I guess. I mean, but to me, then, if he threw the no-hitter, we should have gotten the credit had we not talked about it.
Well, you would have got credit for calling a great game.
Instead, it was just another mediocre effort by the 2 of us. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Pinheiro with a battle with Nick Swisher, and that's low, a full count. Pretty good bat here by Swisher, who's off to a 2-16 start. After Swisher, it's Granderson. And another check on the runner Cano at first. Last night, Swisher went deep. Hit a home run off Irvin Santana, tied the game at 4. There was a lot of action in last night's game. A big collision at home plate. 4 hitters were hit by pitches. Wonder if that will have any residual effect here on the Saturday afternoon start. That's well hit in the right center field and may put the Yankees on top. Cano is on the move. He will score easily. It's an RBI double for Nick Swisher in a 1-0 New York lead.
Very patient at bat for Nick Swisher. He worked it to a full count and then drives a ball in the alley. Now with Robinson Cano running, Joe Girardi had him going, easily able to score it. See Nick Swisher making contact, the head down. Robinson Cano watching. He picks up the ball. Again, when you are running the bases, if you can pick the ball up as a runner, you don't need to rely on the base coach. The base coach is there to help you if you need help.
That drops in for a strike on Granderson. Yankees strike first here today. Had a 3-1 lead here last night. Could not hang on. See the numbers for Granderson. A 268 start in a Yankee uniform and a pop-up into shallow left. Easy for Rivera, out number 2. So Granderson is retired quietly, and Ramiro Pena, who's been a nice extra piece to this Yankee puzzle over the past couple of years, will step in. He has 2 RBIs. He got the game-winning RBI last Sunday, making a start for an ill Derek Jeter and an Andy Pettit start. And he can play well defensively, run a little bit, and a good extra piece here for Joe Girardi. Runner at second, 2 out. A run is in for the Yankees, and Pinheiro gets another pop-up. Brandon Wood at third base hauls it in, and the Yankees get only 1 RBI double by Nick Swisher. That guy. 1-0 New York after an inning and a half. Here in the second, it'll be Hideki Matsui, Kendry Morales, and Juan Rivera against Andy Pettit. Start talking about Andy Pettit, and you look at his career numbers: 231 career wins against only 135 losses. First pitch to Matsui is down and away, ball one. You don't have the real high win total, but a good win percentage. And he has been terrific as a big postseason pitcher. 18-9 in his career, including 4-0 last year as the Yankees won it all. He's got 5 rings. I think you have to start talking about Andy Pettit in the Hall of Fame conversation.
Well, I don't think there's any question, just because of the success he's had and the consistency that he's had. You know, he doesn't jump out at you as a 25-game winner or a 300-plus strikeout guy, but for what he's done over his career, you liken him to a Whitey Ford or somebody in that nature.
He's number 3 on the all-time wins list for Yankee pitching. I want to get Ken Rosenthal involved in this conversation as Hideki Matsui, sitting 299, is ahead on the count 2-1. And he breaks his back, gets a base hit into right center field. Trying to cut it off his Swisher. He will, and the leadoff man is on. For the Angels here in the second, Kenny, it's kind of a year-to-year thing for Andy Pettit as he racks up all these wins. And I know he's at that juncture now where his kids are getting older, but he's really rolling professionally.
Right, and that's what he faces each year, that kind of dilemma, Joe. Basically, he says, hey, my older 2 children, my 2 boys, Jared and Josh, they're at an age where we can't just pull them out of school on a whim anymore, so it's really difficult. The home ties are tugging him. And yet at the same time, he feels like he's in a place professionally that is pretty special. And Eric, you can speak to this. He said it's not that the game is getting easier. It's not that he's just any better at the game. He just sees things more clearly.
Well, I think, you know, when he talks about seeing things more clearly, things happen at a slower pace. He's had so many experiences in the baseball world that he can draw on that nothing really surprises him. And hey, that's one of the main reasons why he's so darn effective now.
And he can flat out shut down a running game. I mean, Matsui's not going anywhere anyway, but as the first pitch is in for a strike to Kendry Morales, when you have an older catcher like Jorge Posada, he's got to look at days when he's catching, and he's not at Cervelli today, but that's a day maybe to relax a little more than he typically would, because Pettit, with what he can do, varying his leg kick and his throws to first, shutting down a running game, doesn't matter who's catching.
Well, and that's the thing. Pettit absolutely will help you. I mean, you mentioned Matsui on first base. I mean, he shuts down his own running game just by him getting down to first base. You see Pettit right here throwing one right down, and Morales pulling his head. But again, Pettit, there aren't a lot of pitchers that are going to help the catcher prevent the running game, but Pettit is one of the few that can do it.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Morales, reaching for it, ground ball in the hole. Jeter, nice play for the force out at second. That leap and a throw from Derek Jeter to Cano, and with Matsui running, he's had the knee issues, arthritic knees. He was out easily at second base.
Well, Derek Jeter does such a nice job when he gets himself elevated, his ability to turn his body and make the throw. I mean, we don't only see that just at second base. We've seen that a number of times where he goes in the hole and makes that throw all the way across the diamond to first base. You know, this is a guy 36 years old and showing no signs of age.
I think you can look at Jeter's year last year as, if not his best, in what is a Hall of Fame career, certainly one of the best. With what he did defensively, what he did offensively, was in the MVP conversation. Here's a ball outside to Juan Rivera. Last year, Jeter hit .334, his 4th Gold Glove, his 5th World Series title. 35 years old right now, and he's less than 250 hits away from the 3,000 hit club. 1-0 pitch is on the inside corner, strike one.
Well, and outside of catcher, and some may even argue that shortstop is the most demanding position on the field, just because you control that middle part of the infield. The way Derek Jeter plays with the constant diving, the way he runs the bases, his importance at the leadoff spot, physically to be able to maintain that consistency throughout the season. Hall of Fame material.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's a throw over by Pettit. The runner now is Kendry Morales, who's on after bouncing into the force out at second base. Saw the numbers, the power numbers for Jeter jumped up, but that was the case really for anybody in the Yankee lineup with the way the ball jumped early in the season at the new Yankee Stadium. That has not been the case so far at the start of 2010. Here's a 1-1. Line drive caught by the third baseman Ramiro Pena.
Pena's first step is what allowed him to make this play. A great first step, then just elevates that glove. And I'm not so sure if the ball caught him or he caught the ball. Very difficult in day games to pick the ball up off of the bat because of the glare from the fans in the stands, usually wearing light-colored shirts. And then with the sun, very difficult for the infielders to get a jump.
Here's Howie Kendrick, the number 7 hitter in Mike Scioscia's lineup. 2 out now, the runner at first, and Pettit checks on Morales. There's the background, if you will, that Ramiro Pena had to look into to find that line drive, and it was almost past him when he caught it for out number 2. Pettit's first pitch up and away, ball 1 to Kendrick, who's a .395 career hitter against Yankee pitching. And so far this season hitting .305, a guy who went back down to the minor leagues last year, midway through the season. That was in mid-June. He came back on the 4th of July, and he was hot the rest of the season. There's a strike. And Pettit 1-1. 2 second basemen in this game, and Robinson Cano and Howie Kendrick, who can swing the bat and are serious offensive threats. Cano more so than Howie Kendrick, but he's a .300 hitting second baseman. 1-1 pitch. Off the hands, off to the right, strike 2. Give you the defensive alignment for the Yankees. It's brought to you by Scott's. In the outfield, it's Gardner in left, Granderson in center, Nick Swisher in right with Pena. Jeter's made a couple of good plays. Cano and Teixeira, and the young catcher Francisco Cervelli is receiving Andy Pettit. 1-2 the count. And Kendrick is jammed. It gets under the glove of Pettit, and a little indecision, but a step on the bag by Jeter, and the inning is over. So a force out, 6 unassisted. We go to the third, 1-0 New York. Back to Anaheim after a word from your local Fox station. Presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Eric and I, Ken Rosenthal and Chris Rose, are building something together, and that's a fine telecast on a Saturday afternoon. First up for the Yankees in the third inning is the number 9 hitter, Cervelli. And Francisco takes a strike. He's got some bounce behind the plate. And a guy who's done a nice job, not just calling games and catching, but he's hit 5 out of 9 to start the season. Good tailing pitch from Pinheiro in the count 0-2. Give you a Mets update in just a second from Chris Rose, who is laying out on the rocks out in center field here at Angels Stadium. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Cervelli takes in the dirt. Ball 1.
They mentioned Cervelli hitting the ball a little bit. Nice day to give Posada a breather. Doesn't fare all that well against Pinheiro. Again, you're getting to a stage 2 where Joe Girardi is going to have to give Posada days off if you want to get him through the season.
That's inside in the count 2-2. Tim and I mentioned 2 weeks ago the new helmet worn by Cervelli, that concussion limiting helmet. I believe it's made by Rawlings that Cervelli is wearing. Here's a ground ball to third. Wood waits on it. Former minor league shortstop makes the play. And helmet at all, Cervelli is out to start the third inning, and we check in for a game break with Chris Rose.
It is presented by DirecTV. Joe, Mets and Braves. Tough 38th birthday for Chipper Jones. Normally a .419 hitter on the special day. 0 for 2, left in the third with a sore hip. Jeff Francoeur struggling. 3 for his last 33 coming in, but goes the right way here in the 7th. It's an RBI double. Mets win it 3-1. Just the third time since last May they've won 3 straight games. Remember, Joe, the only way to watch every game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. Back across the field to you guys in the booth.
All right, Chris, thank you. The Mets starters over the last 10, a 3-1 record and an ERA of 1.39 as Jeter fouls one away, strike 1. Ike Davis has injected some life. They needed something at Citi Field and with the Mets to give that franchise some hope moving forward after a terrible start. And their little turnaround has coincided with his recall from AAA.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Things were just stale, and you needed a change. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything revolves around Ike Davis, but it's just some freshness, just something new. Right now, it seemed to spark the Mets, but the bottom line is the pitching. Pitching, pitching, pitching.
New time next week, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific, and it'll be the Mets and the Phillies on Fox Saturday Baseball. Here's an 0-2 inside for a ball. We showed you Roy Halladay, who is making it look even easier in the National League than he did with Toronto in the American League.
Well, and maybe it is. He doesn't have the DH in the lineup. Gets to face the pitcher.
Here is a jam shot up the middle for a base hit. Jeter's on for the first time today. Didn't get his arms extended, but got enough on it to get it past Kendrick and into center field.
No, but this is a swing that we've been accustomed to watching. You see he gets his hands through, keeps them close to the body. Again, just another version of that inside-out swing. Able to get the barrel of the bat on the ball and just fights it right up the middle.
So Pinheiro now has allowed 4 hits. It's 1 on 1 out for Brett Gardner. And up to 2,770 hits is Derek Jeter. As Brett Gardner takes a strike from Pinheiro. Joel Pinheiro had that year last year under the guidance of Dave Duncan, the pitching coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. 15-game winner, an ERA under 3.5. Signed a 2-year deal late in the free agency period to come to the Angels. There's a strike over the inside corner, 0-2. And for a guy who came up in 2000 with Seattle and was more of a 4-seam fastball hard thrower, Dave Duncan preaches not just to Pinheiro but other pitchers on his staff is to pitch to contact. Don't try and strike everybody out. And using that sinker that he had but didn't rely on, it's made a big difference in his career. Pop-up out behind second for Ibar or Hunter, and Ibar takes it 2 out.
Well, you talk about Pinheiro and what he's been able to do, and as far as I don't want to say resurrecting his career, but he's absolutely changed it. Because as you mentioned, power pitcher, snappy curveball, but because he throws to contact, he learned to throw the sinker. You've got to have movement. You can't pitch to contact with a four-seam fastball. You can if you've got some movement.
Well, they have two reasons to boo Mark Teixeira now here at Angel Stadium. One, he was an Angel and he left for big dollars with the New York Yankees. And two, he put Bobby Wilson, a young catcher, on the disabled list last night with a serious collision at home plate.
I will see right here the ball bounces away from Bobby Wilson. Mark Teixeira goes in. Bobby Wilson suffered a concussion, ankle injury as well. You know, people weren't happy with the collision. They felt like Mark Teixeira may have been able to avoid it. But after watching it a number of different times, you know, Mark Teixeira went in there. It was a clean play. Mike Scioscia said it was a clean play. You know, I'm not really sure there was anything that Mark Teixeira, if he's trying to be safe, could have done to avoid the collision.
2-0 the count. And Teixeira comes up empty. That's now two catchers who have been injured. This was a franchise that started the year with 3. They're down to 1. They had to call up a young catcher, Ryan Buddy, to take the place of Wilson after early in the week putting Jeff Mathis, who was off to a great start. There's Mathis, who was really hitting. Very good defensive catcher on the DL with a broken right wrist. Hard hit under the glove of Kendry Morales. There's Kendrick. What a good play. Kendry couldn't. Kendrick could. And Morales got back to the bag for the out. Bottom of the third inning in Anaheim. 1-0 New York. MLB Fan Guide, available exclusively at Lowe's. Bottom of the third inning, Angels batting with Napoli to start it. And Mike, who is the more powerful of the catching core, takes the ball high. It's Napoli, then Brandon Wood, and then Eric Ibar. Still a 1-0 game for Andy Pettit. RBI belongs to Nick Swisher. That's a strike. And at the knees, a ball and a strike. 89-mile-an-hour fastball to Napoli, who's off to that 148 start. That's I guess, up and away for ball 2. Since 2005, the Angels are 23-9 against the Yankees here in this stadium, including the postseason. Winners last night, trailing today. 2-1 pitch from Pettit. Good rip by Napoli on a delivery that was up 2-2.
When you talk about the Angels and the success they've had, you see Brandon Wood, the young third baseman. I think for the Angels, it's not just one of those things where, well, we think we can come back, and yeah, let's go get it. They actually know that they can come back against this Yankee ball club, no matter what the score may be. There aren't many teams that have that type of feeling. Sure, they may be told they can do it, but to actually go out and be able to do it, to draw on the experiences, one of the reasons why this Angel ball club has been successful.
If fans in New York are just checking out this Angels team for the first time since the last ALCS, it's a different looking club, there's no doubt. The pitch up and away. You still have Kendry Morales, you still have Torrey Hunter from last year, Ibar, Abreu. But Vladimir Guerrero is gone, John Lackey is gone, Sean Figgins, who was an igniter at the top of this lineup, is now in Seattle. Darren Oliver, a valuable piece of the bullpen, who did just about everything for Mike Scioscia last year, is gone. He's in Texas. Here's a 3-2. And a base hit into left. Napoli is on to start the third inning for the Angels.
There's just a low fastball that Napoli's able to get the head of the bat on and drives it to left field. No, not anything special. Mike Napoli is a guy, though, that's going to have to produce and produce with some power. He's somebody that's always been a threat when he's been given a chance.
Well, here's Brandon Wood. All eyes are on him. Angels fans who pay attention to the box scores and have been hearing about this young player with all the power and the production in the minor leagues. Former minor league shortstop. 43 home runs, drove in 116 in 2005. He's had a couple of cracks at it at the big league level, and now with Figgins gone, he's the guy at third base, and so far it's been a dismal start. Strike one over the outside corner. He's hitting .087 with 15 strikeouts and 46 at bats. Had the night off yesterday.
Well, and that's the worst thing. You see, we're taking a look at the scoreboard. As a player, you're walking up there, you're trying to get that out of your head. You see .087, you're thinking, man, can we just start this season over? But that's the thing that he has to face right now. Not only physically not being able to get hits, but mentally, do I belong at the big league level? Can I succeed at the big league level?
I don't think in the Angels' opinion the physical part is a question at all. I think they believe that given time, Brandon Wood will settle in as he's up on the count here 2-1. Mike Scioscia told us that before the game, and I think he believed what he was saying. I think what they're worried about is the frustration, the disappointment, the pressure. Mickey Hatcher, the hitting coach, building up to prevent the physical ability of Brandon Wood to step up and do the job. There's a check on the runner. It's Napoli at first.
Well, you hit it right on the head. It doesn't matter what everybody else believes. It matters what you believe you can do standing in that box. And I can tell you, as a hitter, no matter what stage of your career, when you struggle, doubts do enter your head. And as a young player, when you haven't had success, it's even more pronounced.
Here's the 2-1. Fouled out of play, 2-2. So what do they do, and what do they really believe, Ken Rosenthal, about young Brandon Wood in this organization?
Joe, they still think he's going to hit, but Mickey Hatcher said that he is hearing advice from so many people that his computer is about ready to blow up. But here's some advice he might find useful. Mike Scioscia was a guest on Cal Ripken's radio show this week, and Ripken told him, hey, you tell Brandon Wood, opening day 1982, I went 3 for 5, and then I went 4 for 55 after that.
Here's a base hit into left, right on cue, and here's a throw to third. Napoli trying to take a base, and he's out. And what a good play by Pena on the short hop and the tag, one away. Napoli just made the first out at third base as he tried to run on Brett Gardner.
Well, not necessarily the smartest play, but this is what the Angels do. why it's not the smartest play. Mike Napoli has the play in front of him, and you have a left fielder that is throwing from the left side. If he's a right-handed thrower, he's got to catch the ball, turn his body, and then make the throw. You see Napoli, he sees everything in front of him, kind of slows down a bit, and then decides to take off. But he makes that judgment. The Angels are known going first to third. For all the rewards, every once in a while they'll get caught. They got caught.
I'm not so sure that the tag by Pena caught the leg of Napoli before he got on the bag. The ball beat him, and it's saying it was a right call, wrong call. I don't know if we have any other looks at it, but Pena made a very good play away from the bag on that short hop. And I would say Napoli got around that tag by Pena, just looking at it from the two views we have there, and Tim Sheeta, the crew chief, called him out.
Well, it looks like he gets his left leg in there. Pena tagging him on the right knee. Again, the ball beat him. Tim Sheeta called him out.
So Brandon Wood now is on at first. Pettit pays attention to him, and there's more from the Yankee defense than we talked about in the first inning, and just the 6 errors. And Ramiro Pena's made 2 good plays at third. A line drive that he caught off the bat at Juan Rivera in second. And now that tag, and Wood was a little farther off the bag, and Pettit gave him another look.
I think the Angels, though, they'll take that thrown out at third in trade for a Brandon Wood base hit. Because right now, Brandon Wood, he needed that more than anything.
Well, the guy that Wood is replacing just snapped an 0 for 17 streak last night for Seattle, Sean Figgins. That's high.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion, at least on the talk shows. You know, Sean Figgins, they shouldn't have let him go. And what the reality is, Sean Figgins, while he'd have great regular seasons, didn't always fare that well in the postseason. And really, the main difference not having Figgins here now is the energy level. You know, Sean Figgins, a lot of excitement, a lot of chatter, a lot of movement, and that's the one difference. Brandon Wood, he doesn't bring that.
There's a tip foul by Ibar. Count 2-1. In fact, Figgins last year during the ALCS had just 3 hits in 23 at bats. So the Yankees, and Andy Pettit was a big part of it. In fact, Pettit won the clinching Game 6 at Yankee Stadium. They kept Figgins off base with the bigger bats behind him and didn't let Figgins start to run and create trouble. That was the easiest way to try and beat the Angels. There's Cano making the catch for out number 2. So some loud outs, but outs nonetheless, and Cano made the catch. The ball hit by Ibar.
Well, the Angels are swinging the bats well. They're making good contact. But as we discussed earlier, you know, this Yankee defense, it's not just average. Right now, they're playing at a very high level. And again, when you can pitch, when you can catch the ball, it's going to keep you in a lot of games.
Here's Abreu, who struck out his first time. And by his own admission, as he has struggled against left-handed pitching, and something you touched on earlier, Eric, he's just pulling out of there, pulling off pitches, and that's something Andy Pettit, studying tape, will try and take advantage of. There's a strike.
Well, I was here early yesterday watching Bobby Abreu in the tunnel in the batting cage with Mickey Hatcher. He was swinging a bat about half the size of the bat he's using right now, just forcing himself to keep his head on the ball and driving the ball to left center, left center, left center. Went out and had 2 doubles last night. Felt pretty good about what he had done earlier in the day. Just has to continue that for a period of time.
Different situation against a left-hander. Pettit, a little floater over the glove of Pena into left. And Abreu's on for the first time today. And through all of this, 3 hits and a line drive out. The Angels still trail by 1 and have 2 on, 2 out right off the end of the bat.
Well, still, though, at least he's been able to make contact in that situation and serve it into left field. He does that an awful lot, especially with runners on base. And as a pitcher, when the hitter's able to fight off a nasty pitch like that, let alone get a base hit, it makes the job of the pitcher that much more difficult.
So a situation now for Torrey Hunter. He has driven in 6, hitting .297 at the start of the day, grounded out to short his first time up. And he takes over but low ball 1.
But if you're Torrey Hunter right now, you're looking for something up in the zone and out over the plate. Well, Andy Pettit will probably try to come in off the plate with that cutter, but look for something out over the plate and up in the zone.
Pettit steps off. As now Cervelli has to go through the signs with a runner at second. That's Brandon Wood. Runner at first is Abreu. 2 out. And Cervelli's going to go talk. Andy Pettit, as he stands out there, has now allowed just 3 earned runs in 22 2/3 innings to start the year. Has not been a pretty inning for Andy Pettit, but no damage. Now the number 3 hitter for the Angels, who has 229 home runs as a center fielder, which is 6th best among active players in the big leagues right now. Griffey's number 1 all time with 542. Hunter's on the list, and the 9-time Gold Glove Award winner takes a strike. On deck, Matsui. It's a battle between Andy Pettit and Torrey Hunter right now. 2 on, 2 out, and a ball inside. 2-1. The next from Pettit, chopped foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Andy Pettit going a lot to the cutter in this at-bat. May come in with a curveball. Right now, if you're Torrey Hunter, you spread your feet a little bit. Got to just make contact here. Pettit probably come in off the plate with a cutter here.
Here's a 2-2. And on the inside corner, Hunter can't believe it. Rung up by Bob Davidson, who takes off the mask and discusses it with Torrey Hunter. Alex Rodriguez coming up. He'll lead off the 4th inning for New York as the Yankees lead the Angels 1-0. A-Rod digs his way in for Alex. He tapped back to Pinheiro. We mentioned the first time the bat didn't last long. He is now 4 for 31 in his career against Pinheiro, and the two things don't match up. He has struggled against Pinheiro. He has dominated the Angels franchise with the long ball. 70 home runs against the Angels, by far the most ever hit against this organization by anybody in the game. That includes the postseason. Ball and a strike.
You know, there are just some pitchers, though, you don't pick up the release point. You don't see the ball out of the delivery. You know, that's the situation here. Alex Rodriguez will go down as one of the greatest hitters to ever play the game, but if you had to make a living facing Joel Pinheiro, be a poor man.
Here is a 1-2 pitch. Right back up the middle. And Rodriguez is on to start the 4th inning. We talked to Joe Girardi during the break, and the first question was about how pleased he must be with the way his team is catching the ball here in 2010.
Extremely pleased. We've played at a very high level, and 2 plays in this game already have probably saved us a run. A nice throw by Gardner in the 2nd inning. A great diving catch of a line drive by Pena.
Andy Pettit off to a great start. I mean, does what he do, especially at his age, does it continue to amaze you?
It is amazing, and you think about he's been doing it for so long, and all the wins that he's had and all the postseason games that he's pitched. I mean, he's an amazing guy, and he doesn't try to do anything too fancy. He throws a lot of strikes like he is doing today and makes quality pitches.
A lot of people like to ask this question as fans. I'll ask you, the last time we talked to you in this stadium, you were in the ALCS. How do you like your team this year compared to what you worked with last year?
I like our team a lot, and only time will tell, but I think our rotation is deep. I love our bullpen. I like the guys in our lineup, and we got speed, and we're a little bit more athletic this year.
You like standing down there in the sun? This isn't too bad.
I do. It's a beautiful day here, that's for sure. And happy birthday tomorrow, Joe.
Hey, thanks, pal. And to your wife as well.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, thanks. Joe's wife, Kim, has a birthday tomorrow, and we said it during October last year, but just a class act, and what a good job he's done with the Yankees now in his 3rd year. Base hit into right off the bat of Cano, who's 2 for 2. He stays hot. And the first 2 Yankees are on here in the 4th inning, with Nick Swisher coming up. New York already on top 1-0.
Well, one of the advantages of having Alex Rodriguez hit ahead of you, when he's standing on first base, the first baseman has to hold him on, thus creating a hole for the left-hand hitting Cano. He's able to shoot a ground ball in that area. Base hit. And you see where Kendry Morales is. Got to hold Alex Rodriguez on. Now, if he's playing back, maybe he has an opportunity to dive for it, but he's got to hold Alex on. Just increases Cano's chances.
So now 2 on with nobody out, and the first pitch to Nick Swisher from Pinheiro. He bunts. How about that? Third base side. It was a beauty. Runners advance to 2nd and 3rd. Now 1 out as Swisher drops it down. And I guarantee you, 1, Swisher hasn't been asked to do that a lot, and 2, the Yankees don't do that a lot, although it's part of Joe Girardi's arsenal.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure, though, that he didn't do that himself. I mean, you run with Curtis Granderson coming up, and then you've got Ramiro Pena and Francisco Cervelli coming to follow. So you can pitch around Granderson here, not give him anything good to hit, and then go after Pena and Cervelli. Swisher, a dangerous hitter in that he can get a hold of one. Hit a home run last night, had a base hit earlier today. You know, maybe he might outthunk himself there. Is outthunk a word?
It is
right?
now, and I knew where you were going with that, and that's kind of the surprise in my voice when he dropped down a bunt. I mean, that's not what Swisher is really paid to do. Yeah, the runners advance. They're at 2nd and 3rd, but now you've got the bottom of the order. They're going to walk Granderson and leave it up to Ramiro Pena and Cervelli. So in that trade-off, the Yankees, in essence, have the bat taken out of the hands of Swisher, who very likely did that on his own. And now we'll have to ask for production out of number 8 hitter Pena, who's sitting under 200, and a young catcher Cervelli.
Well, that's what managers will tell some of their players. Look, don't think. Just go out and do something. I think right there in that situation, you know, Swish got caught up in the moment, didn't really play out this inning. Mike Scioscia now has options, and he's chose to make Pena and Cervelli beat him.
It's only the 3rd Yankee sacrifice the early 2010 season, and the bases are loaded for Ramiro Pena, who has made a difference with his glove in this game, and now is being asked to do it with his bat. Popped out his first time up. Bases loaded. Pinheiro a chance to get out of this, and for a guy who features a sinker, even though Pena can run, a double play is definitely on the table as well. For Nick Swisher, by the way, last year hit 29 home runs, drove home 82. Sacrificed 6 times during the course of the season. There's a strike on the inside corner, and that's the strike zone that these hitters are working with here today. Torrey Hunter just had strike 3 called either on or just off the corner, and Pena gets one called against him. On or just off the inside corner. Ramiro chases. It's 0-2.
It's just a high fastball running out of the zone. You know, Pinheiro, I think, has recognized that the umpire, Bob Davidson, has had a wide zone. Now it's up to him to exploit it, throw a pitch a couple inches off the plate, hopefully get the call.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Pena went around, and that's strikeout for out number 2. No appeal. Bob Davidson rings up Pena, and the bases are loaded with 2 gone.
Now this ball just in the dirt. Mike Napoli doing a nice job of blocking the curveball, keeping it in front of him with the bases loaded. Bob Davidson making the call by himself.
So for the Yankees, who had 2 on and nobody out, then the bunt, and the intentional walk, now a strikeout, and it's up to Cervelli, the number 9 hitter, with the bases loaded, 2 down. Grounded out to third his first time up. Fastball for strike 1. Cervelli 5 out of 10. Swinging the bat. And with runners in scoring position, he has produced. Bases loaded, 2 out, 0-1 pitch. Rides up and in from Pinheiro. Ball 1. 31-year-old right-hander from Rio Padres, Puerto Rico. His first year with the Angels, in a jam here in the 4th inning, but 2 out. Here's a 1-1. Ground ball under the glove of Brandon Wood into left, and 2 runs will score. 3-0 New York as the young catcher Cervelli delivers with the bases loaded, 2 out.
Well, Cervelli doing a nice job of hitting. A fastball up in the zone on the previous pitch. He's looking for something down. He gets the breaking ball down and shoots it through the left side just under the glove of the outstretched Brandon Wood. He may have learned something from the at-bat that Pena had, because prior to Pena striking out, he got a pitch that was up in the zone. Pinheiro followed it with a breaking ball low. The exact same combination that Cervelli just got. He was looking for that pitch down, and he got it.
So now 2 on, 2 out for Derek Jeter, who's 1 for 2. The Yankees lead 3-0 for Pettit. Here in the top of the 4th inning, it looked like from our angle that ball went right under the glove of Brandon Wood, the third baseman, former shortstop in the minor leagues. Could not get the glove down and keep it on the infield or end the inning with an out. Tailing pitch, misses, a ball and a strike.
Well, you see the glove just over the ball, unable to get down. Brandon Wood is a big man down there, about 6'5". Is unable to get the glove to the ground.
A 1-1 pitch is out of the zone, 2-1. Runners on at first and second, 2 out. Kevin Long, the Yankees hitting coach, talking with Rodriguez, who started this rally now with a base hit, and that one's into center. Here comes Granderson, the throw by Torrey Hunter. Up the line, another run, throw to third, and Cervelli's hung up. And tagged on the back, but it's a 4-0 Yankee lead. RBI hits by Cervelli and Jeter with 2 out. 4-zip New York after 3.5. Looking for individuals who make a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game right here in Anaheim. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. July 13th, the All-Star Game here at Angels Stadium. It's 4-0 New York. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Hideki Matsui is first up. Yankees just got 3 runs in the top of the 4th. And now the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Angels for Andy Pettitte. And that catches the outside corner. 73-mile-per-hour pitch from the 37, almost 38-year-old left-hander. Matsui singled his first time up in the 0-1 pitch from Andy Pettitte. Is high and tight, a ball and a strike. Kenny Rosenthal is down in the dugout. 3 runs scoring for the Yankees in the top of the 4th inning. And a part of that inning, with 2 on and nobody out, was a bunt by Nick Swisher. Here's a 1-1 pitch and a ground ball right side. Teixeira ranges, and the race is won by Pettitte. 1 out. Hey, Kenny, what did Nick Swisher say to you after the Yankees came up with 3 runs?
His exact words, Joe, were, if that wouldn't have worked, I never would have bunted again. And he said he was indeed on his own, and when Cervelli's hit went through, there was nobody on that Yankee bench more excited than Mr. Swisher.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us, or just to recap, base hits by Rodriguez and Cano, 2 on, nobody out. Swisher, who already has an RBI double, homered here last night, drops down a bunt for a sacrifice. A walk to Granders and a strikeout of Pena, but Cervelli rescued the inning, and then Jeter tacked on another run with a base hit to make it 4-0, and a ball high to Kendry Morales.
Well, the only thing that could have been worse for Nick Swisher is if he would have bunted it and popped it up or something and not got the runners over. Then he really would have been wearing it in the dugout.
Here's a strike from Pettitte. 1 ball, 1 strike. White Sox are playing the Seattle Mariners, and we'll have an update. Chris Rose here in a moment. Here's a 1-1 from Pettit. Morales, a big swing, comes up empty, strike two. Look at the AL East. You get the Yankees at 11-5, a half game behind Tampa Bay. Toronto is between Boston and the Yankees, and Boston started out 7-10. 5 games off the pace. Here's a 1-2, chopped to the right side for a base hit. Kendry Morales is on. DirecTV game break. Here's Chris Rose.
All right, Joe, on Chicago's south side, Freddie Garcia dealing against his former team. It's scoreless in the fourth, but that's getting Franklin Gutierrez, his first of the year. He came in the day second in the AL with a .391 batting average. It's 1 zip in the fifth. Remember, the only way to watch every MLB game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. And, Joe, I wonder what Ozzy's going to tweet if his team falls to 6-12.
Or his son.
Be careful there. Be careful.
1 on, 1 out. Juan Rivera is at the plate. Pettit deals, and that might be. It could be. It is. 5-4-3 double play. Inning is over. Off to the fifth we go. Yankees coming up. Gardner, Teixeira, Rodriguez. 4-0 New York. Three and four hitters, Gardner, Teixeira, Rodriguez, against Joel Pinheiro, who's been so good so far this season. It included, as Eric Karros talked about earlier, a Wednesday, April 14th start. Ball one floats outside to Gardner against the Yankees in New York. Pinheiro allowed a run on 7 innings pitched and a 5-3 win. But today not as good. And that spins Gardner out of there. Got his attention. 2-0.
This thing not even close, up and in. Absolutely sending a message right there.
Two balls, no strikes on Gardner, who has a hit. He's popped up. 1 for 2, and now he hits one down into the right field corner. So he is spun off the plate, gets up, and drives one into the corner. Thinking about 3. The relay by Kendrick not made, and a leadoff triple by Brett Gardner. Knock me down and then watch me run.
Well, no better way for a hitter to exact revenge when you're knocked down than to come right back up and get a base hit, whether it's a home run, a double, a triple, something back up the middle. I can guarantee you right now, Gardner's running around those bases, and he's thinking, yeah, take that.
And there was no chance he was stopping it, too.
No, not at all.
He can fly, and it's been his legs that have been so impressive and his speed in the early part of this season. Here's Teixeira, grounded up the middle. Kendrick, good play to his right, 1 out. And Teixeira, who has 7 RBIs, is now 0 for 3 and misses the RBI chance here as we watch Gardner do his thing.
Well, he's just sprinting right out of the box. And as I said earlier, Reggie Jackson said this guy is going to hit 250 just with his legs. If he can just hit 50 points, he's a 300 hitter. And I'll tell you, he's been getting base hits early on in this season.
We had 3 infield hits last week. I believe it was on Sunday. It was on Saturday, actually, and it was the most for the Yankees. Here's a check on the runner at third by Napoli, no throw. Gardner had 3 infield hits on Saturday, the most by a Yankee since Don Mattingly had 3 in August of '92.
Don Mattingly,
Don Mattingly.
Wow. Not known for speed.
Infield is in, 1 out. Rodriguez just chews up these RBI opportunities. The infield is in. Sure on their tiptoes as Rodriguez, who has started this season with 2 homers, 11 RBIs. He has a run scored and a base hit today. Can make it a 5-0 or a 6-0 game with 1 swing. Teixeira couldn't get it done. Now the 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. Good pitch down from Joel Pinheiro.
Well, 2 things. Alex Rodriguez doesn't hit Pinheiro well, and because Pinheiro throws that sinker, a great opportunity for this defense to get a ground ball. You know, he's not going to throw anything waist high at all. Doesn't want to give up a sacrifice fly. Wants Alex to beat something into the ground.
That's blocked by Napoli. Mathis is known as the better defensive catcher. The 2 primary catchers for the Angels. He's on the DL. Napoli is more the power hitter and a guy who could hit you 25, maybe more home runs if given a legitimate everyday shot at the big league level. But he did a good job there to keep that pitch at the plate. The count's 2-2. The next pop foul, right side, and just out of play. And caught by a Yankee fan. So the count's still 2-2. For the Angels, this is game 6 of a 10-game homestand. So far, 3-2 on this homestand, and they have 500 record of 9-9. 2-2 pitch. Field in, runner at third, 1 out. And in on the hands of Rodriguez, who fights it off.
Well, you mentioned the Angels' record in this early part of the season. And they've had one heck of a schedule. Had to play New York, in New York, run up against Tampa. Excuse me, not Tampa, but some of the other ball clubs, the Tigers, Toronto, Minnesota. I mean, it hasn't been easy.
2-2 pitch is inside, full count.
And I was talking to Soch the other day. I said, shoot, you get out of this thing, you know, at 500 with this part of the schedule, you've got to be excited, especially with the way you start. 2-6.
Trailing today 4-0, and a chance for Rodriguez to make the hole even deeper. 3-2. And struck him out looking. 89-mile-an-hour fastball from Pinheiro, 2 out.
Just flat out froze him, and I think he would have froze a lot of hitters. He's been beating the ball down in the ground, throwing everything about knee high. Here he elevates up in the zone. Alex Rodriguez just freezes on that pitch. Not anything he can do except hope that umpire Bob Davidson misses the pitch and calls it a ball.
Quick visit from Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, as Pinheiro got the big strikeout. The Verizon game summary: Cervelli with a 2-out, 2-run single in the 4th inning. Jeter followed with an RBI hit. Swisher a double for an RBI in the 2nd. Here in this 5th, a leadoff triple by Gardner. He hasn't moved. 2 out, and Cano gets the 2-out RBI hit, his 3rd hit of the day. And it's 5-0 New York here in the 5th inning. What a start for Robinson Cano, and that look from Mike Scioscia as Pinheiro got Teixeira, Rodriguez, and on the first pitch, bang, Cano gets him for an RBI.
Well, the household names: Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira, Derek Jeter. One that will become household this year is Robinson Cano. Everybody knows him in New York, but this is a guy, because of his spot in the lineup this year, he's going to have an opportunity to put up some loud statistics.
So 3 hits, 2 runs scored, an RBI now. Start of the day, tied for 8th in the American League, hitting .333. Napoli can't find it, so Cano takes 2nd on a wild pitch.
Mike Napoli doing his best to keep the ball in front of him. Just gets away, unable to find it. Cano doing a nice job recognizing that Napoli can't find the ball. He takes off.
Swisher with a sacrifice, an RBI double in this game. He launches one foul. Strike one. For the Yankees lineup, we talked about their defense. They join only the White Sox so far as a team with 20 or more home runs and 15 or more stolen bases. They have more team speed in this lineup than they did as world champions a year ago. Count 2-1 on Swisher. No home runs so far today. On a Saturday afternoon, that's fouled. Strike 2. 2-2.
Well, it's tough to say that they're a better team than they were last year because they won a world championship. But fundamentally, they look better. The speed is better. We've got Gardner that could be playing every day. Granderson out there as well. I mean, they're a more complete team, and they can beat you more ways this year.
And I think it's easy to forget the start that the Yankees had last year, not just against the Red Sox in particular, but it took a while for that bullpen to really shake out. Once Phil Hughes went down there, he really solidified the spots. That one gets away from Napoli, should be a pass ball. And over to third goes Cano with 2 out. So just when we talk about the defense, a wild pitch Napoli couldn't handle, and this one off the edge of his glove.
Yeah, he just flat out missed it, didn't square it up. Going out there and saying, my bad. There you see Jeff Mathis. And, you talked about him being known for his defense, and you also mentioned earlier about the start he had began with hitting over 300. And that really could be a big blow to this ball club. Expected to be out for almost 6 to 7 weeks.
Had a 10-game hitting streak when he went down. Career 200 hitter coming into this season, but he was injured, was hitting 324. Runner at third, 2 out, and Swisher, a full swing, fouled it away. Last year, during the postseason, is when Jeff Mathis really got hot, changed a little bit of his hitting approach, loading up on his backside, having more to hit with. He carried it into the start of this season, but now there he is with a cast on his right arm. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Swisher right back up the middle, another 2-out RBI hit. Another run at 6-0 New York. And the last 5 runs have been knocked home with 2 out. So 6-0 Yankees for Andy Pettitte. And this was a rocket back up the middle.
Just shoots it back up the middle, not trying to do too much with it. And sometimes Swish has a chance or gets fired up about trying to hit the ball out of the park. There, just right up the middle for an RBI.
Granderson takes the ball low. I think when the Yankees initially got Curtis Granderson, I expected him to be the guy to hit higher up in the lineup than he has so far, as Stokes gets loose for the Angels in their pen. Good curveball. Strike one.
Yeah, I thought Granderson would be maybe in the second spot, but he doesn't get on base as well as Gardner has demonstrated this year. And then you put that speed up there.
There's a 1-1. Fouled away. They got Gardner in that spot today. That was an opportunity to put Granderson up there. Typically, it's the DH Nick Johnson, who is not swinging the bat well. He's been on base because of his good batting eye and drawing a lot of walks, which is something that is no surprise. He's made a career doing that. He's a better hitter than he has shown to this point. Now the DH for the Yankees. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat, broken bat. Kendrick will flip for the out. The inning is over, but 2 more runs. 2 more 2-out runs. It's been a rough day for Pinheiro. 6-0 New York after 4.5. Experience flows. Let's build something together. And we welcome you back to Angels Stadium. I am Joe. That is Eric. And I guess this is the formula for the Yankees. Are getting a lot of 2-out hits, playing good defense, and they're watching Andy Pettitte just do it again.
Yeah, not much you can do, and you're not getting a lot of contributions from the middle of the lineup. It's not Mark Teixeira. It's not Alex Rodriguez. It's Robinson Cano. It's Nick Swisher. I mean, that's the thing about this Yankee ball club. They're so darn deep. Cervelli, a base hit. Man.
Even mentioned Gardner. Here's a strike from Andy Pettitte to Howie Kendrick.
I wanted to leave something for you to say. I didn't want to hog it all up.
That's why you said Prince. Saturday, April 24th. Here's the 0-1 from Pettitte. That goes around the plate. Andy Pettitte came up in 1995. He's a 2-time 20-game winner. Great year in '96. A World Championship year for the Yankees. Was 21-8. Perfect pitch over the outside corner at the knees. 04 through 06, he went back home and pitched for the Astros. Came back in 07, and he has 43 wins over the last 3 years. He's coming back to New York. There's a swinging strikeout with Cervelli taking care of the end of it. 1 out and strikeout number 3 for Andy Pettitte. And that's the way the 5th inning begins. Look at Joel Pinheiro, and on the 14th, that's what he did against the Yankees. 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks. And today, not so good. He's allowed 11 hits. He has not been able to shut the door on innings, and that's really crippling, with 5 of the 6 runs scoring with 2 out. Here is Napoli. There's strike 1. Napoli singled his first time. That was in the 3rd inning. At the time, it was 1-0 Yankees. His single was followed by a hit to left by Brandon Wood. Napoli tried to take 3rd. Red Gardner threw him out, and from that point on, for the most part, it's been all Pettit and Yankee hitting. 6-0 game.
Well, very easy to watch a game and say, Mike Napoli, what are you doing running? But that's the way the Angels have played under Mike Scioscia. For 11 straight seasons, it's first to third. It's putting pressure on the other ball club. Sometimes you have to tip your hat. The Yankees, they executed. They made a nice play.
0-2 the count from Pettit. And the next to Napoli is up and away. I know you're biased, and you should be because of your career as a Dodger, mainly. That's how I think of you. But Mike Scioscia has got to go down as one of the best managers in the game, period. And a strikeout of Napoli is out number 2, and strikeout number 4 on the day for Andy Pettit, something that Tim and I talk about every postseason as you watch Napoli strike out. Scioscia just is very calm, gets the most out of his roster, and is in charge of his group.
Well, I think what he does is he's one of the few managers that brings a combination of earning the respect of his players and, from a strategic standpoint, being at the top of his game. There are a lot of guys that are very strong in one arena. Guys will run through a wall for you, or they're known as very cerebral managers. But Mike Scioscia, he does both of those things as well as anybody. And I'm not afraid to say it. I think he is the best manager in the game right now. I don't think there's really even a discussion.
Andy Pettit trying to strike out the side here in the 5th inning after his teammates have scored 5 runs over the last 2 at-bats that they've had. Top of the 4th, top of the 5th. And Wood pops it up. Right side, foul ball. And it drops out of the reach of Teixeira. Still 1-2.
You know, and we're in an era right now of a handful of Hall of Fame managers. You look at St. Louis with Tony La Russa, Atlanta, Bobby Cox, the Dodgers, Joe Torre. I mean, you talk about a golden age of baseball. You could make an argument that right now is almost a golden age of managers.
And for Scioscia, he's in his 11th season. He's the first manager in baseball history to guide his team to playoffs in 6 his first 10 seasons. Another foul. This stay in play for Teixeira. He or Cervelli could get there. Girardi was the closest one to it. Girardi does a little housekeeping down there. Picks up a map, puts it back, and Girardi getting out of the way. Count stays 1-2.
Well, interesting that the Yankee bench, they're looking at the ball when you would hope that they would be looking at their player and just trying to let the player know that, Cervelli, hey, you've got some room or we're going to grab you. I think everybody just had their eye on the ball.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Down and away. You know, in our discussion of managers, you touched on the big names. Girardi, who was manager of the year with the Florida Marlins before he was let go there, came to Fox for a short while, and second season with the Yankees, won the 27th title for that franchise. How about Andy Pettit striking out the side in the bottom of the 5th inning? He is 2-0 and rolling today. 6-0 New York after 5 in Anaheim. Baseball presented by Lowe's is sponsored by Denny's new 2, 4, 6, 8 value meal all day, every day. By Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevy, every model is backed by a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We go to the 6th inning here in Anaheim Angels Stadium. And Ramiro Pena is 0 for 2. A couple of good defensive plays at third base. Puts the arms on ball 1. Down and in from Joel Pinheiro. Pena, then Cervelli, who has a big hit in this game. Doing the catching today, giving Posada the day off than Derek Jeter against Pinheiro, who read the articles about Pinheiro at the start of the week. They were talking about, oh, he's going to be an all-star. This year he's going to get a chance finally to be an all-star and do it in his new home stadium. This is where the all-star game will be July 13th. Not so good today. Kendrick, 1 out. Rec TV game break. That means it's your time to listen to Chris Wood.
All right, Joe, 17th game of the year for the Dodgers. 6th one that goes extra innings. In the 13th, Russell the Muscle with a base hit to score Rafael Furcal. Bottom of the frame, 2 on for Ian Desmond. Grounds 1 to 3rd. Pudge Rodriguez, what are we doing here? He's out, and so too are the Nationals. Tonight, their 10th win of the year. The only way to watch every baseball game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. Joe?
Chris? Don't go away. Talk to you for a second. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Cervelli. That's strike 1, and it's foul ball. So I'll ask you, word is on the street that you have a show on the internet.
Yes, dozens have tuned in so far, at least. It is every Tuesday, foxsports.com. Part of our Lunch with Benefits program. It's called The Cheap Seats. And actually, 2 of our regulars are CeCe Sabathia, Torrey Hunter. This week, we've got Dodgers Gold Glover Matt Kemp joining us. Brandon Phillips of the Cincinnati Reds. Brian Wilson, who's got a mohawk, the closer up in San Francisco. So that's every Tuesday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Just log on to foxsports.com. We might even Skype with you guys one day.
Might. 1 out, nobody on. 0-2 is the count on Cervelli, who's 1 for 2. It's part of foxsports.com. The Cheap Seats on Lunch with Benefits, which has been a hit on the internet. Chris must have a good booking agent to get all that talent. Skyping in to give their opinions about the game and life as we know it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cervelli with Jeter to follow. Still 1-2. Cervelli, I mentioned the big hit. It came with 2 out, bases loaded in the 4th. Not only drove home 2, but then Jeter followed with an RBI hit. So he took it from a 1-0 game and helped make it a 4-0 game. Now it's 6-0. 2-2.
Well, it really was the hit that turned around the game. Prior to that, runners on first and second. Nick Swisher up there bunting. Put runners on second and third, but walked Branderson with tired Pena, and the Angels looked like they were going to get out of the inning.
Little squiver third base side, and Brandon Wood makes the play 2 out. In-game box score for the Yankees brought to you by Toyota. And it looks like this. Hits up and down that lineup, and the Yankees are showing you the breadth of how they can win a game. The depth which they can go. Pitching, defense, speed. They're getting hits. Guys like Cervelli, Gardner with a triple, a single, a run scored. Jeter's on that list, but Teixeira still struggling. When he talked about feeling like he was breaking out of it, he has 3 ground ball outs, 1 time into a double play. Cano's had the big day swinging the bat, 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored and RBI. First pitch, a strike to Derek Jeter. And the next skips in. 1-1. Angels in the bottom of the 6th inning will have the top of their lineup. Andy Pettitte just struck out the side in the bottom of the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeter. That's low. Here's a 2-1. That's over below. Here's an email for us in the booth from Matt. Wants to know, why do we think Cervelli has such a lower ERA as a catcher while catching this year for the Yankees compared to Posada?
Still a little too early to try and draw any kind of comparisons as far as Cervelli versus Posada. He's just been fortunate to catch a few games right now. Sample size is still small. Look, you can have a lot of people like to knock Posada, but the reality is this is a guy that, behind the plate, the Yankees have won 5 world championships. Not with anybody else, with Jorge Posada behind the plate.
Here's a 3-2. Jeter into right. Abreu is there. And Pinheiro has a 1-2-3 inning for the first time today. Bottom of the 6th. 6-0 New York. First pitch is a ball to Eric Ibar. Top of the lineup for the Angels, 6-0 New York, and LA has got to get to work. Good movement to that pitch from Andy Pettit. Count evens at a ball and a strike. One of the most cooperative umpires that we might during the course of our seasons here at Fox Saturday Baseball is the guy behind the plate, Bob Davidson. We had an interesting back and forth with Torrey Hunter earlier in the game when Hunter struck out looking with the bases loaded, actually with a couple on in the third. Try to get that to you. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ibar. And the next, saw Shields getting loose. A check swing, he didn't go. Count 2-2. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Hard hit, fair, down the left field line. Eric Ibar starts this inning with a leadoff double, and the Angels have their first extra base hit of the day against Andy Pettit.
the ball. It's out over the plate, but it's up in the zone. Ibar just turns on it, shoots it right past the diving Pena.
Eric, you think about a guy like Ibar, finally got his first full chance in the big leagues last year. He's hit .304 since taking over the shortstop position for the Angels, and he's on here for the first time today. Leadoff double, and now Bobby Abreu.
Well, Ibar, a real spark, and then they've got another player, Meister is tourist, we haven't seen yet today, but those two on the base paths can wreak havoc.
Abreu takes a strike. Toyota in-game box score for the Angels. Now Ibar has a hit. It's a double. Abreu, the guy at the plate, with a single. And then 4 other singles. That is it against Andy Pettit, who has struck out 5.
Well, and one thing, when you look at that, if you notice, no Angel hitters have walked.
Here's a shot into right off the bat of Abreu, and a nice running catch by Swisher. Had to go a long way to get it. Tagging and going to third is Ibar, 1 out. A good catch and a jump by Nick Swisher in right.
Well, Nick Swisher gets a good jump. He tracks the ball the entire time, knows where he is as far as the outfield. Nice catch. Nice job also base running, Eric Ibar. Sometimes runners have a tendency to get caught up in watching. He gets back to the bag, tags up, gets to third with less than 2 out.
Here's Torrey Hunter when he struck out, talking to home plate umpire Bob Davidson in the third.
It was a good pitch. It's on the corner.
I know you're a veteran, but come on, dog. You know I'm a veteran, too.
I know. Well, I don't call it because you're not a veteran.
Man, it was a ball, I swear. I swear to you it was a ball. I was looking for it, and I know it was a ball.
All right. I mean, hey, it looked good to me.
A little smile on the face of Torrey Hunter while he's talking. Real likable guy. First pitch was a ball, and this at bat. Now pop-up, shallow right. Swisher will get ready to throw. Ibar tags at third, and the throw by Swisher to the plate, not close. And the Angels are on the board on a sac fly by Torrey Hunter at 6-1.
You know, getting back to Bob Davidson and his comments to Torrey Hunter, one thing about Bob Davidson in that situation, he wasn't confrontational. He wasn't saying to Torrey, oh, yeah, that pitcher was a strike. You should have swung the bat. Umpires have done that in the past, and it's almost like they want to instigate something. Bob Davidson, hey, look, that's where it was. That's what I saw. Strike. And you can't say anything if you're a player.
There was a period of time when Bob Davidson was part of the group of umpires when they walked out when he lost his job. And it was a real wake-up call, obviously, to a guy like Bob Davidson, but it took his paycheck away. But it also changed his demeanor when he came back, and he was very open about the fact that he was, I'm going to say an instigator, but he was a guy that was very abrupt and a guy that certainly wouldn't back down from an argument, as you know better than I with your playing days with Bob Davidson. And he has come back a much more level-headed, I think, open to discussion and fair umpire by his own admission.
Well, I think what you have to understand, if you are an umpire, the players have an emotional investment in the game. The umpires, they don't. They want to get the call right, but it's not their livelihood as far as whether or not you strike out or don't get a base hit. And I think with umpires, when they get into confrontations with players, if they just say, look, I saw it that way. That's the way I saw it. I saw it that way. You can't argue. But when they vehemently say, no, you didn't get to the bag, or no, they tagged you out. And then as a player, you go in the video room and watch it, and you see that they missed it, just irks you even more as a player.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Matsui, who is 1 for 2, a single, and he's grounded out. Run is home for the Angels, a 5-run Yankee lead now, and Matsui takes a ball down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2 out, nobody on. Pettit could not get around the leadoff double by Ibar. Ryu lined to right. Ibar tagged and advanced to third, and then scored in the sac fly by Hunter. Matsui lays off. Full count. You see the frustration on Pettit after the sacrifice fly. He got the out. He was shaking his head on his way back to the mound. The shutout is gone, but he's gone 5 2/3. Allowed 1 run on 6 hits. 3-2 pitch. Another strikeout for Andy Pettit. That's number 6. And we are through 6 in Anaheim. And it's 6-1 New York. Back after this, your local Fox station. Baseball presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Every year the Angels build their bullpen, and a big piece of that puzzle out there is Scott Shields. Last year had a knee injury that shut him down in June for the rest of the year. So far he has started this season, Eric, very erratically, having a tough time throwing strikes, but when he is on, he is nasty and one of the best setup men in the game. First up is Gardner, and 2 quick strikes from the right-hander Shields.
Well, and it isn't velocity. I mean, the velocity has been there, and you talk to Mike Scioscia, and he'll tell you it's the release point. There's a lot of moving parts in Scott Shields' delivery. When something gets out of whack, you can throw him out of whack.
Here's an 0-2 pitch that's hit into center for the 3rd hit of the day for Brett Gardner. And so with the leadoff man on here in the 7th, it's time for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. It's the Yankees defense giving the Yankees the edge. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Jeter's made a couple of good plays. The throw by Gardner in left, and the tag by Pena at 3rd. A double play turned in this game by the Yankees. And part of that defense is certainly the work by Andy Pettit, who's through 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 6 hits. Here is Teixeira, 0 for 3. The infield shift. He swung around to the right. It's happened before, Eric, with the release point being out of whack for Shields, to the point where they've had mid-season simulated games to try to get him back corralled into the strike zone, but he's got filthy stuff, and SI just named him the top setup man in baseball for a decade. He is that good.
Well, and you mentioned that he throws simulated games. They'd shut him down, as you mentioned, for a week at a time, where you're not going to pitch in a big league game until you get things straightened out. You know, and if he is able to, it just gives Mike Scioscia another option, an already deep bullpen. talk about power arms coming out of that pen.
There goes Gardner, got a good jump. Napoli has no chance. And for Gardner, an AL leading 9th stolen base.
And not much you can do right here if you're Mike Napoli. Just catch it and make a nice throw down there. Don't throw it into center field. But Brett Gardner stole that base off of Scott Shields.
So Teixeira now with the easier RBI chance. A runner at second, nobody out. Gardner. Yeah, you talk about the bullpen here with the Angels. That's the real strength in this pitching staff for Mike Scioscia. It hasn't shown itself. Here's a ground ball through the defense, through the right side for an RBI for Teixeira, who will take second base and make it with an RBI double. And the 6-run lead is back for New York. It's 7-1 here in the 7th inning.
You hear a fastball. Teixeira shoots it through the defensive shift. And because of the way the defense is shifted, Mark Teixeira recognizes that there might not be somebody at second base. He hustles all the way around first, thinking second from the get-go. Easily slides in.
Now Rodriguez. 7-1 New York, and a strike from Shields, and here's Teixeira out of the box.
You see, he gets going, and then he realizes, hey, look, there might not be anybody there. He hustles in there, slides easily. See nobody there at second base.
Rodriguez has a hit in this game. He has scored a run. He struck out and grounded out as well. Yankees are 5 for 10 in this game with runners in scoring position. Angels just 0 for 2. That's how dominant Andy Pettitte has been in this game. A single, a stolen base for Gardner. He scored on the RBI double by Teixeira. And Rodriguez waits for a 1-2. Alex takes a strike, and he strikes out looking for the second consecutive at bat. First out here in the top of the 7th.
Tough pitch on the outer half of the plate. Again, not much you can do with it as a hitter. You know, just because it's a strike doesn't mean that, you know, a big league hitter is going to hit. A big league hitter is looking for a certain pitch in a certain spot, or trying to protect, or trying to guess with the pitcher. Sometimes a hitter will look at him and go, what the heck was he thinking? Well, he was looking for something completely different.
Well, whatever Cano's been looking for in this game, he's found it. Whatever pitch he's wanted, he has jumped on it. Good first pitch swinger. He takes this time, and it's a strike. He's 3 for 3. 3 runs scored, an RBI. He has 15 career 4-hit games. He is 1 knock away from that. Here's a strike. It's 0-2. Joe from Long Island emails us and asks us if we think Cano will have 40 home runs here in 2010.
You know, for the Yankees' sake, he better not have 40 home runs. And the reason I say that is because if he is a guy that's going up there trying to drive the ball out of the park and swinging for the fences, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's an RBI guy.
Good play by Shields. That had infield hit written all over it. Shields got the glove up, made the stop, 2 out.
You know, it's interesting when we're talking about him hitting home runs. You know, in the batting groups for BP, the Yankees have Robinson Cano, Derek Jeter, and Alex Rodriguez. They're all in the same group. And sitting around the cage yesterday, you know, these guys are getting on one another saying, oh, yeah, way to pull the ball, way to pull the ball. And they're saying it sarcastically because they get up there and some guys, Cano trying to jerk some out of the... You start to get into trouble when you try to pull the ball, when you try to hit home runs. And that's why I go back to, if Robinson Cano is hitting 40 home runs or trying to hit 40, Robinson Cano will not be as impactful a player as he is right now.
He has 3 singles in this game, been in the middle of all the action. Here's Swisher, so is he. An RBI double, an RBI single, a sacrifice that he laid down back in the 4th, and he takes a strike from Shields. If nothing else, if the Angels can corral Scott Shields and get him back right with either one good inning or two good innings here in this game. That'll be a minor victory for him. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Now in the middle of it, time to stretch. A run for the Yankees, who lead by 6. Saturday Baseball presented by Lowe's, sponsored by Just for Men Hair Color, Live Forward, by Toyota, and by Sharp Quatron TV technology. You have to see it to see it. How about our bonus question for Tune In to Win? How many base hits will both teams combine for in the 8th inning? Got a half inning to think about that. We're in the bottom of the 7th, Angels batting, and first up is Kendry Morales. Switch hitter is 1 for 2. He's bounced into a force-out single, and he has really blossomed. Did so last year for the Angels, taking over for the departed Mark Teixeira, and their numbers are rather similar. Since Teixeira went to the Yankees, Mark tied for the AL lead with 39 home runs last year. Tied with Carlos Pena of the Tampa Bay Rays, and Kendry Morales was just about as productive for the Angels. That's a short hop, and that's out number 1. Not as easy as he made it look. One away, and Juan Rivera will be the hitter. Here are the numbers since 2009, since the start of last year. And Teixeira went to New York. Morales took over here. 277 average for Teixeira. More home runs, few more RBIs. Strikeouts about the same. Higher average for Kendry Morales at a much more economical price. But they're both very good players.
Yeah, excellent players. Mark Teixeira more accomplished defensively. If you look at that average, you see the difference. But remember, Mark Teixeira, the way he started the season, it hadn't helped his cause at all, with the average. But as you mentioned, Kendry Morales, a player that the Angels really are going to build their offense around. He leads the team in home runs, RBIs. Had a huge home run against Java Chamberlain last night.
There's a huge swing and a miss as Rivera was totally fooled on the pitch, and now he's in the hole 0-2. Pettit has struck out 6.
Well, I think for me, the most impressive thing about Pettit, no walks today. That's something coming into this ball game. He's averaged about 1 walk every 2 innings.
Guy who doesn't get a lot of credit is Dave Island, the pitching coach for the New York Yankees. And he's got a lot to work with, no doubt. There's a lot of moving parts in that bullpen, especially last year, and helping to Joe Girardi shape that bullpen to have enough, have those 3 top starters in the rotation to get them to the World Series title. He's done a nice job, and now they have a new left-hander, Boone Logan, power lefty that has joined this team while Chan-Ho Park is on the disabled list with a bad hamstring, and it's all anchored by the guy on the left, Mariano Rivera, the best for my money ever to do it. Closing games, certainly regular season, definitely postseason. That's over but low, full count. 1 out, nobody on. Rivera's 0 for 2. That's strike 3. Rivera walks away. Strikeout number 7 for Andy Pettitte. 2 out, nobody on here in the 7th inning. Chevy and Scotts are building diamonds and dreams. See how the kids could win a ballpark makeover, and you could win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com. Here comes Howie Kendrick. There he is. 2 out, nobody on. And another strike from Andy Pettitte. He's doing it seemingly with every pitch he has. Not strikes all the time, but he's not relying on one pitch to get over for a strike. Kendrick has struck out and bounced into a force out. That's up and in. 1-1. Long look in by Pettitte. Kendrick stays in, and the 1-1 pitch. Up the middle, off the mound. Derek Jeter gets the high hop, makes the play, inning over. Andy Pettitte, what a day for him in this Yankee offense and defense, up 7-1 after 7. Hit a double, but then settled down to get the next 3 hitters in the 7th. And Stokes misses high with ball 1 to Curtis Granderson. It'll be Granderson, then Ramiro Pena, then Francisco Cervelli. Nice moment before this game, really multiple moments for Carlos Saija, who is a Make-A-Wish kid who was here at the ballpark. Big Yankee fan, and a very special pregame tour around the Yankee clubhouse, out on the field, playing catch. Took the lineup card out. There's a 3-0 to Granderson and a 4-pitch walk. Not a good start for Stokes. Here is the day for Carlos, and there's Carlos Saija getting to meet Yankees. A.J. Burnett got to jog in the outfield with Jabba Chamberlain, take a picture, play catch with Alex Rodriguez, and then before the game took out the lineup card. And baseball people, being superstitious, knowing that Carlos had brought the Yankees good luck, I wouldn't be surprised to see Carlos get on the traveling squad of the Yankees with the way they played here today as they lead at 7-1 in the 8th.
Well, great experience for the little guy there. Come out here and then have the Yankees play the way they played today.
Number 2 batter in the inning is Pena. And he takes a strike after a visit from Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, to Stokes after that leadoff walk. So Shields, 1 inning, 2 hits, a run. Here's a ground ball to the second baseman, Kendrick. 1 out. No chance to turn 2. And with 1 on, 1 out, Francisco Cervelli will be the hitter. Tomorrow, NASCAR on Fox will bring you Sprint Cup Series racing. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing at the Talladega Super Speedway begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, in high definition right here on Fox. Here's Cervelli, who has that one key hit in the 4th inning, a 2-out, bases loaded, 2-run single. Ball 1 low from Stokes. So 1 for 3, and he's done a good job every time he's had a chance to catch. We saw him a couple of Saturdays ago catching Sabathia, who had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. He's done a nice job. A lot of issues with veteran pitchers having to shake him off and get on the same page as the younger Cervelli.
Well, and he knows what his strength is. His strength, and the reason he's here in the big leagues, is because of his defense. And he's a student of the game. He works with his pitchers. He knows what their strengths are. So he has a plan when he goes out there. And he's been great this early part of the season. The bat is just great.
Reaching for it. And the count 1-2. Ken Rosenthal, we haven't checked in with you in a while. How you doing down there?
I'm doing well, Joe.
Fantastic. We have any more on Cervelli?
Well, yes. At a time when the Red Sox are really struggling to throw out opposing base stealers, here are the Yankees. They are bursting, Joe, with young catching talent. To start with Cervelli, the Yankees are quite comfortable if he catches between 40 and 60 games this year. And then you look at their top 2 prospects in the entire organization. Both are catchers. We're talking about Jesus Montero and Austin Romine.
Austin Romine's dad, Kevin. This pitch rides up and in to Cervelli. Ball 2-2-2. Now I know I've been around a long time. I used to broadcast when Kevin Romine was up and down with Boston Red Sox, mainly playing in Pawtucket. Now his son is top catching prospect in the Yankees organization. 1 on, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Cervelli fouls it away. You talk about catching in the Red Sox in the same breath. What a terrible time they're having trying to slow down the opposition's running game.
Well, they've got a dilemma. There's no question about it. Victor Martinez, they really liked as far as the offensive ability, and they were hoping that they could possibly sign him to a multi-year deal. Well, there are a lot of question marks now with his throwing. You know, and do you sit him down or put him in the DH role, and then Veritek comes out and catches, and then what does that do to the DH spot? I mean, it's a real quandary out there. It makes for a lot of talk show interest.
37 of 38 are the opponents stealing bases against the Red Sox. They caught one guy. in 38 tries.
And he tripped, right?
Vladimir Guerrero had one the other day.
You know, and always the onus gets placed on the catcher, or the catchers. You know, and a lot of it has to do with the pitchers and their ability to hold runners.
There goes the runner, and Pena will have to come back. A foul at the plate by Cervelli.
You know, we mentioned earlier today that, you know, Andy Pettitte is a pitcher that absolutely aids his catchers because of his ability to hold the runners on. I mean, you get some pitchers out there that they don't even look twice at the runner. They don't even, you know, they're slow to the plate. You could have Johnny Bench back there, and he's not going to throw him in.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Pena goes again, and ball 4 down and away. Will put runners on at first and second. Ball 4 at the plate, so even though the throw beat the runner, check swing, they appeal, no swing, and so a walk puts runners on at first and second. 2 walks in the inning by Stokes.
Well, this is tough. If you're Napoli, you've got to follow through with the play as if Cervelli went after it. Makes a strong throw down to second base, but they appeal. The first base umpire, Alfonso Marquez, he says he didn't go.
So 2 on with 1 out for Derek Jeter. And Jeter has 2 more hits today. His average is just under 340. The top spot of this Yankee lineup, and he takes a tailing fastball, 94 miles per hour, strike 1. Get an email from Scott in New York who wants to know how he can get his lawn looking as good as the field that we're showing on television here this afternoon. Your name is Scott. And Scott's the company that takes care of this field. So I would start there. But it takes a lot of tender loving care to get a lawn looking just right. But in weeks to come, maybe we'll throw a microphone on a grounds crew member and see how they do it. I just don't know how they do that pattern in the outfield with the mower. Here's a 1-1 left side in the hole, Ibar. Only one place to go, and a good play. Force out at third with Brandon Wood covering the bag, 2 out.
It is. It almost looks like a checkerboard. I don't know about a checkerboard, but it looks like something.
It's watching them do it before the game. I'm not smart enough to figure out how they're that good to make it that uniform all the way across.
Well, they do each square.
Really?
They just do a square, and then they move over, and they have about 150 guys out here. Each guy's responsible for his own square.
That's impressive.
And they're all named Scott.
And 2 on with 2 out. And a strike. Get a lot of emails. Where's Tim today? Tim's getting a pedicure right now. And that's the stuff that Tim just wouldn't do on the air. Talk about having your own square. Well, I mean, you know, you got to. Everybody, they cut the grass. I mean, it's Scott's. Cut the grass. Over the outside corner to Gardner in the count 0-2. There's Cervelli with the oversized helmet at second and Derek Jeter at first. That's what happens when it's 7-1. Sorry. 0-2 pitch. Up and in. Ball 1. Can you imagine in your day, Eric, if you had that helmet available to you? The size of your noggin?
Well, the size of my head, that's what it looked like. Well, and you know, we know it's one of those concussion-preventing helmets.
Here's a pitch that skips in, and Napoli keeps it at the plate and keeps Cervelli at second base.
I remember David Wright in the New York Mets when he suffered a concussion last year, came back, and initially he was wearing one of those helmets. Didn't last very long. You know, aesthetically, it's not the most attractive helmet,
but if it works, I'd wear it. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'd wear it.
Could you wear it in the booth?
Maybe. Here's a tap foul by Gardner. They don't make. I mean, you think you have a big head? They don't make that helmet that new style and anything that would fit mine. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gardner, 2 on, 2 out. Here we are.
I don't think he'd look good in the helmet up there.
Now, here's a strikeout of Gardner, and mercifully we're into the bottom of the 8th inning. The score 7-1. Yankees leading and having fun today in Anaheim. No one offers as much DVR storage as DirecTV. By Lexus, the only luxury car maker with 4 hybrid models. And by Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew. Andy Pettitte back to the hill, bottom of the 8th inning. Bottom 2 in the lineup, Napoli, then Brandon Wood, then Ibar. And Pettitte has been in charge since the beginning. Ball 1 up and away. 7 strikeouts, no walks, 1 run, 6 base hits. That's it. Behind Pettitte, 7 runs put up by the Yankees. They've done it on 13 hits.
Well, something Andy Pettitte's used to is that run support of all the active major league pitchers. With over 1,500 innings, he's at the top of the heap. Almost 6 runs per game. Pretty darn good. Makes it a bit more comfortable when you're out on the hill.
Now a guy who has 231 wins. Gets along start after start. Napoli tried to check. He did, says Alfonso Marquez, and the count 2-2. Came close, Napoli, to swinging at that pitch. Thought he offered at it, but it's ball 2. Napoli with a hit and a strikeout. And now he strikes out looking. Strikeout number 8 for Andy Pettitte. Leadoff man is gone. Did you know Valvoline will guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles? We can't guarantee that Andy Pettitte will throw a complete game. In fact, his last one's in 2006. Valvoline is the first and only motor oil in the industry to guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles. With 1 out, nobody on. Here's the number 9 man, Brandon Wood. Ball 1. So over 100 pitches on the day is Andy Pettitte. And that's high, ball 2, 2-0. Actually, I was kidding about Tim. Jim McCarver was calling the game between the Seattle Mariners and the Chicago White Sox, a game that was won by Seattle 4-2. Now he's getting his pedicure. Now it's 4-3. They're in the 9th inning. It's 4-2. Now it's 4-3. Keep you updated pitch by pitch as we go along here in the 8th inning, and Wood hops up. Brandon singled in the 3rd inning, struck out in the 5th. Trying to establish himself as a big leaguer. Now in the pitch was in on his hands, and he chopped it foul. 2-2.
Now you look at those numbers, Andy Pettit, that 0 walk, that for me, is the most impressive thing. Worked both sides of the plate, been up and down, as you mentioned earlier, throwing an array of pitches. Now, I'm not sure I've seen Andy Pettit better. I mean, I know that he's had better games, but the way he's thrown today, keeping hitters off balance, his control.
Mentioned his last complete game was in August of '06 when he was with Houston against the Cubs. That pitch is low, a full count.
And even when he misses, for instance, that pitch, it's right there.
Damaso Marte is now getting loose for the Yankees in their pen. 6-run lead for Andy Pettit, and Wood chops it to 3rd. Ramiro Pena makes the play. Low throw, but out as Teixeira does his part. 2 away. And with the bases empty, back to the top of the order, Ibar. The Philadelphia Phillies, as Dave Island, pitching coach, will come out and visit with Andy Pettit. Philadelphia Phillies came out of that World Series talking about a number of things with regard to the Yankees, but one thing that really caught their eye was the defense of Mark Teixeira at first base. And it's not just about range and going to his right, to his left, but what he does for the infielders of this Yankees team, like he just did for Ramiro Pena, makes it look easy. You may not have it really jump out at you, but he's got great hands over first base.
Well, great hands, soft hands, the ability to pick balls out of the dirt. And as you mentioned, it makes all of the infielders that much better. They're more comfortable. They're not worried about rushing a throw, or if it's a ball that they don't have a grip on, maybe they still get it over there because they know that Mark Teixeira is as good as there is in the game right now. You don't have to be so fine with your throws.
First pitch, a strike. Now another to Eric Ibar. It's 0-2. And you can see the work by Cervelli. He does a good job back there framing pitches. Something that his predecessor, Jose Molina, was very good at doing. All the Molina brothers good at that. Here's a swinging foul tip. Ibar just got a piece.
When you hear what we're talking about right now, we're talking about Yankee defense. And how many years in the past have we been talking in a positive manner about Yankee defense? Whether it's Teixeira, Cervelli behind the plate.
Here's the 0-2. Ball 1. Andy Pettit is on his way to a 3-0 start. Talk about the core 4 with the Yankees. 4 players with Andy Pettit, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter. All the rings. Just missed. I think, well, when's it going to run out? One of these guys going to run out of gas. This, in my opinion, is becoming more and more a younger man's game. But they just keep rolling. Jeter picked up where he left off last year. Same for Rivera, Posada, certainly Pettit. He was great in the postseason and is off to the best ERA start after 3 starts in his career. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's a ball into right. 114 pitches on the day for Andy Pettit. 8 strikeouts, no walks, and a 6-run lead after 8. We go to the 9th inning. Yankees on top of the Angels, 7-1. We go into the ninth inning here in Anaheim, and for the Yankees, the heart of the order gets one more time to the plate. That means Teixeira first up, and he takes a tailing fastball for a strike. Teixeira in this game has a hit, 1 for 4. Andy Pettit was fantastic here this afternoon. Here's a fly ball into left center field. It'll stay in the park and slice to Rivera and left, 1 out. What's happening tonight on Fox? Highway chase lesson number 1. It's a lot easier to run if you're not going in reverse. Ha ha ha. An all new cops. Then 9 years ago, 4 girls were shot and their shop torched. Well, new evidence helped solve their murders. All new America's Most Wanted. It all starts at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Fox. So the minute we were talking about the White Sox and that they were finished at home against Seattle, the information that I was getting, well, guess what? The White Sox came back to win that game over Seattle on a game-winning home run by Alex Rios. And that audience is joining us now. Welcome in a new audience, and that audience just saw the thrilling conclusion of the Seattle Mariners and the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox coming back to win that game 5-4. Here it's been pretty much all New York. Rematch of last year's ALCS. We're in the top of the ninth inning. Stokes on the mound. The batter is Rodriguez. And the damage hasn't been done by Teixeira and Rodriguez for the most part today for New York. It's been Cano, Swisher, Cervelli, Gardner. And great pitching by Andy Pettit. 3 balls and a strike on Alex Rodriguez, who has 1 hit, 1 run scored. He struck out twice his last 2 times to the plate. Here's a nice pickup. And the underhand to first for out number 2. Here's Chris Rose talking about the end of that game.
See, it's Alex Rios today. Yesterday, Andrew Jones. Today, it's Rios with the walk-off. And Ozzie tweeting away. 5-4 your final on the south side. Remember to see all the MLB action in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. Joe?
Chris, that means that the White Sox are now 7-11, while Seattle is a 500 club, 9-9. That's their start with all the moves and the work they did in the offseason to remake that ball club. Stokes with a 1-ball, no strike count, 2 out, nobody on Cano, who's had the biggest game for the Yankees today other than Andy Pettit. And he's making a bid, and he's got it. A 4-hit day for Cano. 3 sharp singles to right. Now this little blooper off the end of the bat into left, and the top of the ninth inning continues. 4-hit days are rare in this game, and for Cano, 4 singles, and he's on for Nick Swisher here in the ninth.
Well, I don't think Cano, when you talk about 4-hit games being rare, he's got quite a few in his future. And as I said, he's not a guy he's going to be hitting in the middle of the lineup this year, hitting in that 5th spot. He will have a lot of opportunities. As long as he doesn't get into a situation where he starts thinking he's a power hitter, he's going to be very successful this year.
Andy Pettit, by the way, is on his way to a 3-0 start. Last time he started a season 3-0 was 2003. Won't get that first complete game since 06. Pitch count over 100, but he was in charge today. Strike 1 on Swisher, who has 2 hits, a punt, ground out. 2 RBIs, and the 0-1 pitch is in the air to center. Hunter coming to it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So we hit a man left. Yankees have left 8 on the day, bottom of the ninth inning, and the Yankees will go to their bullpen. 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for the Angels as they trail by 6. To Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Bottom of the 9th inning, Damaso Marte is into the game. There are his numbers. 7th game for the lefty, who now has another one out there with him in Boone Logan. It'll be Abreu, Hunter, and Matsui. So 2 lefties in there to see what Marte can do. As Abreu has a hit and 3 trips. 6-run Yankee lead. And Andy Pettitte just keeps on rolling. Here's a strike to Abreu. Marte, after struggling during the regular season last year, was a big part of the postseason last year for New York. Didn't get a lot of work this spring during camp. Trying to work his arm into shape during the regular season. That's into right center. Drifting back is Swisher, 1 out. Today's Lexus Hybrids game-changing player is, of course, Andy Pettitte, who at the end of the day will be 3-0. Had a career best 1.35 ERA after his first 3 starts. And he was great today. 8 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, Eric, 8 strikeouts. And he mentioned a couple of times, no walks.
No walks. You know, and as you mentioned, he had all of his pitches working today, and he wasn't just focused on throwing that cutter in or the fastball away. He had the curveball, the slider, the fastball, worked both sides of the plate, worked up and down. And again, it's as good as I've seen Andy Pettitte pitch. I know statistically there may have been a better game somewhere down the road, but he just dominated this Angel offense.
Little pop-up down the right field line. Swisher will give way to Cano, who had to go a long way to get it. 2 out.
Well, it's funny. You watch right there, Swisher throwing out his arms like, I don't see this thing at all. Cano tracking it all the way. That's a helpless feeling, though, as a fielder when you're running for a ball. You've lost it in the sun. It could just as easily bounce 5 feet from you as hit you in the top of the head.
So shaking his head. Sunglasses on. Swisher happy to see Cano swoop in there and make the play. And a strike over the outside corner to Matsui. We have our tune in to win winners, and we'll give them to you after this pitch. 0-1 delivery. Outside. It's a 3-way tie with scores of 75 for Joseph Chessie, Chris Friesen, and Mike Volpe. Congratulations to them for winning. Today's MLB on Fox Tune In to win. Visit foxsports.com/tune-in to see your results. If you missed this week's game, make sure to play next week. Being Philly for the Mets and the Phillies. The Mets have turned things around with rookie Ike Davis a part of some better baseball during the last part of this week, and Marte is trying to get the attention of Cervelli. He can't either see the signs or there's something behind home plate that's bothering Marte.
Well, Marte a little animated right there. Cervelli trying to calm him down. Joe looking around like, all right, let's go, guys. Got ourselves a 7-1 ball game, 2 outs. Let's get some strikes and head on down to Newport.
Abreu fly to right. Torrey Hunter popped out to the second baseman, and the next on the outside corner. Matsui's given Bob Davidson a couple of looks during this at bat. Maybe Bob Davidson wants to go to Newport. 1-2. Yankee fans, listen to him. One-two pitch is blooped into left center field and in front of Granderson for a 2-out single. So Matsui keeps it going. And the batter will be Kendry Morales. Matsui 2 for 4. And they'll give him a chance to sit the rest of this one out. Rob Quinlan off the bench to run for Matsui. Here's Morales, 1 for 3. Strike one from Marte. Damaso trying to finish this game. Andy Pettit went the first 8. Good pitch. Morales out in front over the top of it. The count's now 0-2. Yankees will improve to 12-5. The Angels will fall to 9-10. Here's the 0-2. Hard hit right at Jeter. Good play to his right. The force out to end the game. Yankees win it 7-1 here in Anaheim, and they've split the first 2 games of this series. They'll go for their 6th consecutive series win tomorrow, as they will wrap up this set here in Anaheim. Cano a big part of it. Jeter as well, and certainly Andy Pettit, who is now 3-0 to start the season. We'll be back to Anaheim right after this to wrap up our day. Yankees win it 7-1 over the Angels. Back after this from your local Fox station.